The sun's in this early morning. There's more for you away from your sleep. There's life in this early morning. A life that you want to live.
Hi, Dave Buggy here. Just sitting outside the Hunstown power station in North Dublin. Going in for a customer meeting in about 15 or 20 minutes, and I thought just take the opportunity to maybe do a quick video about what Inquiry Works is. It's been what I've been doing for the last year together with Lucy Ellard and an external coach, Malcolm Tulloch. He's been working with us, and we've been working with the senior leadership team in PG and PS and Carl Ennis. We kind of challenged each other last week to say, could we in 6 or 7 minutes effectively describe what it is that we're doing and why we're doing it. So this is my attempt at that. So in terms of why Inquiry Works exists, I suppose it's similar to why there's a lot of improvement thinking in organizations. It's an acceptance that the external environment is changing, and some people would say it's changing faster than ever, and that if we don't change internally what we're doing, we will create a mismatch where we become uncompetitive. So for us to remain competitive and to have a sustainable future, we need to adapt as an organization. Therefore we need to change. Inquiry Works exists to support change within the organization and to improve organizational performance. I suppose where Inquiry Works will differ from some of the other improvement activities, thinking groups, departments within Siemens is that we are taking quite a different and I think novel perspective on how change happens within organizations. I think Siemens has been hugely successful in the last kind of decade or couple of decades since I've been inside the organization at doing improvements through linear, rational, mechanistic type thinking, improving systems, improving processes, using tools and methodologies from areas like Lean and Six Sigma, EFQM, all of these industry-wide kind of concepts that we've adopted and have helped improve the organization, and we've made some real tangible improvements, and I would be a big supporter of all of that stuff. I think it's really important within the organization. I think what I'm noticing, or what I noticed as well, is that there's a limitation to the mechanistic process system structure way of thinking about change, and that actually organizations are made up of people, and the organization is not a bunch of boxes on a page. We think of it as a structure, as a hierarchy, as an org chart with someone sits at the top and Joe Kaiser sits in the top, and there's basically this kind of waterfall below of levels with people, and if everyone does their job and everything is aligned horizontally and vertically, then the organization performs like a machine. My experience is that that's a helpful way to think about things, especially if you're an engineer, but the reality of organizational life is a lot messier than that, and that I think I wouldn't describe the organization anymore in that way. I would describe the organization as people that come together with a common sense of purpose and are connected to each other through the relationships that they have, and everything else just supports that. So all of the systems, the processes, and everything else really supports that. And that if we want to do fundamental and sustainable change within the organization, yes, we need to improve our systems and processes, but what is the common sense of purpose that people have and the connections that they feel, to other people within the organization? If we don't address that bit, I think we're not tapping into the potential that exists for change within the organization. Hello, good afternoon. It's David Buggy from Siemens. I'm here for a meeting with Kieran and Connor. Thank you.
The sun's in its early morning. There's mom pull you away from your sleep. There's life in its early morning. A life that you want to live. And if you're not ready, forget. Lay down and fall back to sleep. If you're not ready, forget. Lay down and fall back to sleep. I say the sun's in its early morning.
Signs in this early morning.
His mom pull you away from your sleep.
Mind for you wake from your sleep.
There's life in this early
There's
morning.
life in this early morning.
A life that you want to
A
live.
life that you want to
And
live.
if you're not ready, forget.
If you aren't ready, forget.
Lay down and fall back to sleep.
Hi, still here at Huntstown Power Station. Just sitting in the Siemens Porta Cabin where we usually base our operations from when we're working at site. I wanted to talk a little bit about the nature of the work that we do from a kind of a practical perspective. What is it we're doing when we're helping groups change? And one of the things we do a lot of is creating an environment where groups can have a much better conversation with each other. If the organization is effectively the common sense of purpose and the relationships that exist between people, then the way that we interact with each other is massively important and how we can perform as an organization. And we can help change the organization through the skill and quality of the conversations that we're having. So we help groups by introducing ideas around better conversations, conversations where there's more listening, more reflection, conversations where we're not looking for who has the best idea, but rather how we can all contribute to something new. And when we can create something new, a new way of thinking, some new ideas, we create the opportunity to take some new action, which helps shift things and move things. And we would go through cycles of action and then inquiry and reflection and learning. And that's, I think, what we're ultimately trying to create in the organization, is the space for that to happen. And that is the mechanism, the central mechanism, I think, that enables change in the organization and improvement. One of the factors that are really important and that I've come to become more and more conscious of as we've been doing this work is the nature of leadership in all of this. We can bring into a group the skills to have better conversations, but we can't do it unless the leadership are supportive and engaged in that work. So the leaders actually are the ones that create the space to do the work. We kind of come with some expertise in helping groups, but the leaders create the space and maintain the space for that work to happen. And what we're talking about here when we're talking about changing the way people act and think needs to include the leaders. They are part of the way we are today, and if leaders are advocating for change, then that means that they need to be part of that change. So that's it. That's what we do. And I'm interested in it because I think it's really valuable for Siemens. I think it will be part of our future. This language of experimentation, complexity, culture, leadership, coaching, it's all wrapped up in this stuff. It's all wrapped up in this work, and it will be the language of our future as much as process, systems, management has been in the past. I think it's difficult stuff. It's complex. It's messy. Takes a degree of courage. There aren't simple answers to the problems that we face, and accepting the complexity is a challenge. But it's also massively rewarding, I think, from a personal perspective, and I think massively powerful from an organizational perspective, an organizational change that's sustainable and real and human, and comes from within Siemens. It's not an industry methodology or toolbox that we've taken so that we can keep up with GE or ABB or Alstom or anyone else. This is something that we can generate from within Siemens that will set us apart, I believe. So I'm looking forward to the future.